Hey Faith St. Thomas family, it's Pastor Steve here, and I'm with my friend Jason Schouten, and we're here, well, we're following up to an important announcement that we made this week. We're going to talk for a few minutes in this video about education and the future of Christian education here in our city. Jason, why don't you just take a moment to introduce yourself to the Faith family?
Hi, my name is Jason Schouten. I'm the principal at St. Thomas Community Christian School. Really excited to be part of this conversation. I'm happy to be connecting with Steve about these things. I've been here now, this is my 8th year at the school, at St. Thomas Community Christian School. I've been the principal there the whole time, and it's neat to be in this area again. I lived in BC for a little while, I lived in Nova Scotia for a little while, and so to be back in Southern Ontario is great, and excited about what we're doing.
Awesome. Now, a couple of months ago, Jason, you and I connected around your vision for launching a high school here in St. Thomas. Both of our schools are thriving and growing and doing well, and so it felt like a really good time for you to launch out with a vision towards the evolution of a high school here in our city. And so we connected on that, but just very naturally that conversation led us back to, I guess, the big conversation that has been going on in this city for about 10 years. And that is it time to have one great, thriving, growing Christian school in our city, and what would that look like? And so we kind of tiptoed into that.
Totally.
And we were very apprehensive around it. But very quickly we realized, hey, this is an important conversation and we need to have it. So how was that for you? Like, because that wasn't ever the plan, right? We were just getting together to talk about high school. This week we've just rolled out the information that this September, God willing, we're actually going to be launching this one Christian school. And we at Faith St. Thomas, we're going to partner with you. We're going to get behind your leadership, get behind the board of STCCS, and move towards this one school. How are you feeling about this?
It's so exciting. I'm really just looking forward to be able to move forward with this. I think it's such a gift. Taking two Christian organizations, and like you said, both of us thriving, not coming from a position of weakness, actually coming from positions of strength, and saying, hey, I think, if we had one Christian school in St. Thomas, this would be a better model. We would be able to, we wouldn't be a school related to a church or related to a church community. We'd be a Christian school teaching about the Bible, a Christ-centered education for all Christians in St. Thomas. I'm really excited about it. I think it's something that this community is really going to benefit from. I think that we are going to be able to provide an excellent education for our community. It's always been important to me that our students are educated in a way that really helps them to grow, to learn who they are, to learn what God calls them to do and how God calls us to live. So I'm just really excited about all of this. I think it's kind of high time. Like 10 years ago, like you said, this conversation started, and it didn't work out at that time, despite some really amazing efforts by some people who really cared about this. And I just feel privileged that you came by to my office and we started going down this road, and I believe God is calling us in this direction, and it's so exciting.
I mean, it feels like the timing is perfect. That doesn't mean that it's going to be easy.
No.
Realistically, all we have right now is a vision and a great team of people around us to try to move this forward and make it happen. But we're not being naive. But I think one of the things we wanted to say is that we're really thankful that so many good people have gone before us in this conversation. We really feel that, right? Like, we feel as if a lot of the heavy lifting happened over the last 10 years with guys like Barry Pierce and Bill Coleman, some of your team on your end. And so here we are, and we're doing this. And in some ways, the sheer volume of faith that's going to be required by both our organizations is huge, but it just feels like that's really pleasing to God that He Himself is excited about this. Now let's talk details. We're not going to figure this all out in one little video. In fact, we're coming back for another episode next week where we're going to talk about philosophy of education. We're going to talk about creativity. We're going to talk about discipleship in the context of a school. But for the few moments that we have here on this video, why don't we talk a little bit about kind of the vision moving forward? Like, what's the dream? Why through all this energy and effort towards one Christian school in our city?
I just think, to start off with, I just want to confirm what you said about the people who've gone before us, put so much effort into this, and I think we're prayerful about this process. God answers prayers in an amazing and unique way, and so I just really want to say thank you to the people in the past who've put the effort in, and now here we are, and I'm excited that we're moving forward with this. To me, the vision, though, is really just to see one thriving school, JK to grade 12, that really confidently teaches from a biblical perspective, a Christ-centered education. And what is so interesting about where we are right now is that both schools are actually doing quite well. And so we're not operating from a place of weakness. We're actually operating from a place of strength. And what the efficiencies that we can have, the way that we can model an education to care about even more kids, be more specific in meeting needs of different students. The opportunity that we have just to grow. You think of, when you think of a thriving community, growth is part of that. And I really see, instead of having two kind of competing models or two competing schools, we have one school that people will come and visit, and we'll be able to share with them kind of a vision that we have for discipling kids in a Christ-centered education. I think it's amazing. I'm really excited about it.
It really is exciting. As a parent, well, we're both parents. We've got little kids in the mix here. I think we're excited about what this could mean for them.
Yeah.
In everything from the academics to the social to the sports.
Totally.
It's just a game changer, like you say, the efficiencies, just of changing the scale of what this looks like. I think is actually just a game changer, and not just for the school, for the city. Like our hope is to really put Christian education on the map here in St. Thomas, and continue to partner with our church and with the churches of this city to make a huge difference for the gospel. And so that gospel-centeredness is something that's important to both of us as leaders, and we're really excited about for the formation of this new identity. Let's talk really practically just in the last part of this video, because I know that for both our communities, realistically they're thinking, oh, this is great, but what about, right? And straight away there's lots of questions, and I'm sure that we're going to spend the next kind of week of our lives answering questions.
For sure.
But right away there's just that practicality of, where are we going to put 300 kids? Like if we bring 130 or 140 from Faith Christian Academy, and we add those to 170, from STCCS, where are we going to put them all?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question, but it's also something we're pretty excited about, because we have two wonderful schools. We have two wonderful facilities, and they're very close. It's amazing how God works, because this wasn't considered when both places were built. And yet, here we are just down the road from each other. And so we really feel like we're going to have two campuses that are practically next to each other. And we'll be able to host about 150 kids at each campus, which I actually think is a super healthy number for both places. So right now, at our current location, we have 170 kids, like you said. And honestly, we're feeling like we're continuing to grow, and we're starting to worry about overpopulating our school and our location. So the timing of this is fantastic, because it'll allow us to get back to a spot of about 150 students at our school, at our location, and that's a great number for us. Now, I've come here and I've walked around your building with you, and just kind of considered what it can look like as far as the kind of education that we offer and the model that we have, and I think this location is fantastic. I think we've got a really ideal scenario here where we could have about 150 kids here as well, and huge gym, wonderful stage. I really feel like for a middle school or something along those lines, this location is amazing. So for us, practically speaking, we've kind of lucked out. We're almost neighbors. We both have wonderful facilities. They're quite modern. There's not a ton of work to do to get them ready for September, and we're going to be able to kind of split it up and go well here.
It's crazy to think we're talking about this September.
I know.
And the amount of work that we have to do between now and then. But it's a really exciting time that we feel, just even in the history of our organizations, there are families who worship as part of our church, whose kids are part of your school, and all that. I'll turn that around the other way, and we even have members of our church that are on staff and teachers for you, and so there's just this natural kind of blend and blurring of divisions and lines that were maybe there 10 years ago that just aren't there anymore. Right, and so I think it is a really, really exciting time. We feel excited as leaders to have this opportunity. Behind us, we have two boards that are just 100% committed to making this a success. while facing the reality that this is going to be hard.
Yeah.
Change is always hard. There's always the emotion, there's always the grief. You know, for us as a school / church, we have 30 years of legacy here, and we want to see that continue, but we want to kind of reconcile the past as well, and be thankful for all that God's done.
Yeah.
But I think the way that we honor God isn't by looking back, it's actually by looking forward.
Totally agree.
Trusting Him for what He's done in the past is a way of showing us that He's faithful, and if He's faithful in the past, He's going to be faithful in the future. And so we can trust Him in this. So Jason, thanks for making time.
Yeah.
I know we're super busy right now trying to land this thing. And just pray for us. Pray for Jason and myself, for Barry, Mr. Pierce, for all the teachers on both sides of this, all the families, all the kids, and just for the wider community, that this would just be an amazing display of gospel unity, and it would just be a game changer. And thanks.
So exciting.
Yeah, awesome.
Awesome.
Thanks, buddy.
Great,
Cheers.
Great. Good, perfect.